Hey basketball guys, we have news. Let's go to more news from the Golden State Warriors, but before that, don't forget to subscribe to the channel and leave your. Can the Warriors win Game 7 against the Houston Rockets? Yes, because the Warriors have a team, but it will be necessary for coach Steve Kerr to bring Jonathan Kuminga back into the rotation. Kuminga is a great player, young, athletic and with a lot of potential for growth. Kerr needs to believe in Kuminga. The Warriors want to make it to the Western Conference semifinals and will have a great player back in Jonathan Kuminga. Jonathan Kuminga remains an immensely talented 22-year-old forward. He also remains out of the Golden State Warriors playoff rotation. Kuminga hasn't played in Games 4, 5 and 6 of the series against the Rockets. If he doesn't play in Game 7 and the Warriors lose, it could be his last game with Golden State. Head coach Steve Kerr was asked about Kuminga after the Warriors lost Game 6 to force the deciding game. The media wanted to know if Kuminga would play in Game 7. Everything is on the table, Kerr told reporters. Kuminga has fallen out of favor since the Warriors' trade deadline acquisition of Jimmy Butler. It escalated late in the regular season with a couple of DNP coaches' decisions. Kuminga got back on the floor when Butler was hurt earlier this series, but then with Butler back, Kuminga has been back on the bench. The Warriors' offense has been stifled in consecutive losses, and they could try something new to awaken it. Or, Kerr may just feel that Kuminga's time in Golden State is over. There's certainly a chance at redemption here for the young forward. There's also the chance at a bit more disappointment. Steve Kerr makes announcement on lineup adjustment prior to Warriors Game 7 vs Rockets. The Golden State Warriors are preparing to leave everything on the court in Game 7 of their first-round playoff series against the Houston Rockets on Sunday. After coming away the loser in brutal fashion by a score of 115-107 in Game 6 on Friday night, Stephen Curry, Jimmy Butler and Draymond Green will look to lead the Warriors to a hard-fought victory. Aside from the superstar trio, the other guys will need to take massive steps to provide meaningful contributions in enemy territory on. Brandon Podziemski, Moses Moody and even the seldom used Jonathan Kuminga could be called upon to be a difference-maker against Houston's incredibly skilled defensive unit. With the Warriors head coach Steve Kerr desperately in need of a serious spark off of the bench, recent reports have indicated that he may trot out the reliable three-time NBA champion Kevin Looney to man the painted area for extended stretches in Golden State's do-or-die outing. I trust Loon, implicitly based on being together for 10 years, seeing him perform in so many of these big games, Kerr told San Francisco Standard's Danny Immerman on Saturday night. So I would expect Loon to play more than he did last night. As Golden State's number 30 overall selection in the 2015 NBA draft, the 29-year-old veteran has developed into a useful big man that Kerr can deploy on a whim for tactical purposes. The 6'9" center contributed just 4.5 points and 6.1 rebounds for the Warriors through 76 appearances in the 2024-25 regular season, but Looney's reputation as a solid rebounder with an exorbitant amount of playoff experience could see Kerr throw him in to battle against the Rockets' intimidating frontcourt duo of Alperen Sengun and Steven Adams. Looney has certainly proved his worth as a monster on the boards in previous postseason runs, as he single-handedly swayed the Warriors' first-round series against the Sacramento Kings in 2023, when he brought down 15.1 rebounds in their eventual 7-game series victory. If Looney can have a similar impact for Golden State against Houston, he may have a huge hand in keeping the team's season alive. Golden State Warriors, Steve Kerr makes one shocking Jonathan Kuminga admission. Looking at the overall picture, the Golden State Warriors have done a marvelous job in turning what was supposed to be a wasted season into a postseason appearance. Jimmy Butler takes a huge chunk of the credit, with his presence being the primary reason for the team's incredible run in the second half of the season. It seemed like the Warriors were on their way to complete an incredible upset against the third-seed Houston Rockets. However, the team suddenly saw their 3-1 advantage shrink as Houston managed to claw their way back and force a Game 7 in Houston. There are multiple reasons behind the team's struggles, but it's clear that the Warriors need to change something in their game plan if they want to make the next round. Defensive adjustments will surely be made, but Steve Kerr may be open to making a change that will surprise Warriors fans. Steve Kerr recently revealed, as reported by The Athletic's Anthony Slater, that he's open to giving Jonathan Kuminga more minutes in the all-important Game 7 against the Houston Rockets. Given how the series has gone for the Warriors, putting Kuminga in is a good option for them. Kuminga's stats during the 2 games he played for the Warriors show his viability as an option. He finished with 9.0 points, 2.0 rebounds, and 2.0 assists on 37% FG and 40% 3FG. While he isn't the most efficient player on the Warriors bench, Heavy Sports' Keith Watkins explained that Kuminga's frame should bring some energy in a Warriors roster that has stuck with small ball lineups for much of the series. He hasn't been a consistent part of the rotation since Kerr leaned into smaller lineups late in the regular season, and he's been benched entirely in Games 5 and 6. But he might be exactly the kind of high-energy disruptor this series suddenly demands. In a Game 7, on the road, sometimes it's not about experience, it's about fresh legs, hunger, and chaos. If the Warriors can knock the Rockets out in 7 games thanks to Kuminga, his value in Golden State and elsewhere should skyrocket. For a player who had to deal with persistent trade rumors throughout the season, Game 7 might be his final chance to make an impact for the Warriors in his career. 3 ways caveman Steven Adams is wreaking Stephen Curry and Warriors playoff hopes. Stephen Curry and the Golden State Warriors built up a 3-1 lead in their first-round playoff battle against the Houston Rockets. They managed to undercut the latter's physicality and athleticism by using clever tactics such as hack Steven Adams to limit their offensive possessions. By doing that, Curry and Jimmy Butler had more chances to score, and they utilized that to win at the Rockets' home court and then again in the 2 games at Chase Center. Along with their defensive positioning, they ensured that the Rockets' big men did not get enough chances to impact the end result. But all that changed in Games 5 and 6. The Rockets, with their backs against the wall, decided it was time to flip the script. The veterans on the roster upped their ante, and along with their overall teamwork, ensured that they wound up with a chance to play for the series in Game 7 at home. In Game 5, the Warriors did not have an answer to the Rockets' early game blitz. Steve Kerr rested his starters, and Ime Udoka followed suit. In Game 6, Stephen Curry and his teammates resorted to the same hack-a-Steven Adams tactics. But this time, it backfired, and the New Zealander had more than a hand in the game. He ended up scoring 17 points, 9 of which came from free throws arising from that Warriors tactic. More importantly, he set the tone for his teammates to follow. Now, he is primed to impact the series in more ways than one. Thwarting the Warriors' small ball lineups. The Golden State Warriors are devoid of proper big men. Most of the time, 6'6" Draymond Green mans the interior. The former Defensive Player of the Year has proved his capabilities against anyone, no matter how he does it. But when he has to handle 2 big men taller than him, it becomes a problem. The Houston Rockets traded for Steven Adams with the idea that he would be their primary interior protector. Since he has offensive limitations, he usually does not start. Throughout the regular season, he saw himself on the court for an average of less than 14 minutes. In the playoffs, that number has risen to 21.5. In the 3 losses, Adams did not feature much. But in Game 6, Udoka asked him to set the tone. He did exactly that, going up for shot contests against any Warriors player entering the paint. He tallied 3 blocks and 1 steal, good enough to let the Warriors know that they cannot attack the interior. This effectively pushed his opponents into mid-range or perimeter shots. Now that he was covering an area effectively, his teammates used their length and athleticism to slow down the Warriors' attack, helping his Rockets' offensive game plan. After Steven Adams thwarts a Golden State Warriors offensive possession, he quickly transitions into helping his Houston Rockets on the offensive end. Understandably, he is not a scorer. But he uses what he is well known to possess, strength, to help his team. He was setting screens for all his teammates while they looked to create scoring opportunities. Adams' strength overwhelmed the Warriors, as they could not chase the ball handler. What impressed basketball fans and analysts is that he managed to do all this without getting into foul trouble. Adams' screens helped young all-star Alperen Sengun contribute in every aspect of the game. Then, when the Turkish center missed, Adams was there to grab an offensive rebound, keep it out of harm's way, and help his team reset their offense. There was a time in the NBA when hack-a-Shaq was an oft-used play. Opponents knew that Shaquille O'Neal had a problem shooting free throws and used that tactic to limit his offensive output. Had they not, the most dominant force in the league would usually obliterate his opponents. In the case of Adams, offensive domination is not a worry for any opposing team. The near 7-footer caveman averaged 3.9 points with the Houston Rockets. However, teams still use the Hack-a-Steven Adams tactic to limit his time on the court so that his defensive contributions do not impede them. He was frustrated by this tactic in the first 4 games. But in Game 6, he embraced it and scored 9 of his 16 free throws. Ironically, the Golden State Warriors lost by 8 points, which indicates that they have to be careful with that tactic. If he embraces it again in Game 7, the Warriors could find it difficult to outplay all that he does on the floor. To give an example of how his presence contributes to the Rockets' overall play, Yahoo Sports' Kevin O'Connor gathered some statistics. When Adams and Alperen Sengun are on the floor, the Rockets record a 117.2 offensive rating. On the defensive side, their rating stands at 85.2. The net plus 32.2 rating is difficult for any team to overcome. In addition to that, the two combine to rebound almost half of the Rockets' misses. When all these factors come into play, there is no doubt that Adams has the tools to wreck Stephen Curry and the Warriors' playoff hopes. Jimmy Butler all but guarantees Warriors will win Game 7 versus Rockets. The Houston Rockets were able to stave off elimination once again in Game 6 against the Golden State Warriors, sending the series back to Texas for a win-or-go-home Game 7. It was a strong effort all around from the Rockets, and they overpowered the Warriors down the stretch of the game. With the Rockets seizing back control of the series a little, many are expecting an exciting final matchup. Houston has a slight edge entering the game due to the contest being played on their home court, but the Warriors have experience on their side. The idea of playing a road Game 7 isn't fun for any player, but the Warriors seem to be embracing it. Star forward Jimmy Butler has all but guaranteed that Golden State would come out on top in the crucial contest this weekend. "So we're going to win together, we're going to lose together," Golden State star Jimmy Butler said. "I know we're definitely going to win together come Sunday. We're good. We're smiling. We're listening to our music, celebrating life. We're ready to compete. We were ready to compete tonight. Things didn't go our way. Okay, we're going to be ready to compete on Sunday. We're going to make the game go our way." Golden State vastly outweighs the Rockets in terms of experience in a must-win game, with the Warriors' core of Stephen Curry and Draymond Green having played in 5 over their careers. Butler has played in 4 Game 7s, giving more experience to the Warriors. For Houston, they have a few players who have played in a Game 7, combining for 10 total over 5 players. The Rockets are still a very young team, and this is the first year of the postseason that they have gotten with this group. All-time high, Butler described the Warriors' confidence. "Now, out of all times, it's win or go home. It's not wavering. We know how good of a team we are. A couple of us have been here before multiple times. It's on us to make sure we get it done. The lights will be very bright for both sides entering this game, and Game 7s tend to bring out unsuspected heroes. Houston may be the number 2 seed in the Western Conference, but this is the first real test for them. The Rockets have been able to win 2 straight must-win games, but taking down the Warriors a third time could be tough. For the Warriors, they don't want to spoil another year of Curry in his prime, so the stakes will be very high in this matchup.